So what brought you to Clipston?
Love. I met my husband. I was married previously, split up with my husband, and my husband now, Lee Spademan, lived in Clipston all his life. I don't think I ever would have dreamt of moving to Clipston. When you live in Mansfield, I think you see Clipston as like another world. And when I first came here, I did find it very. I found it cliquey. But then when you've been here a while, it's not. It's amazing. Because my kids are always bewildered by the fact that you go down the street and they're like, who's that? Who's that? Who are you talking to now? And I'm like, well, we just know everybody. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody's willing to help everybody out. Grandmas have had children, they've stayed on the village, and most people do tend to stay on the village that have been born here.
So you said you thought it was cliquey initially, but
yes,
they've accepted you and you...
Yes, I've been welcomed in.
They've opened the hearts to you.
That could have been my perception of it, because when you live in Mansfield and you live on a street and you don't particularly know all your neighbours, and you go down the street, you don't really know everybody, but I think because Clipston's a village, I don't know, it's just very endearing, I think is the word.
So can you tell me a bit about your role in Clipston?
So I came to be the general manager at Clipston Welfare about 18 months ago. I previously worked at Forest Town Welfare, and I was at Forest Town. People kept saying, oh, why can't you come to Clipston and help and do the things that you do there, because I ran events at Forest Town. And at the time I wasn't really ready to move, and then one day I just thought, you know what, it seemed to be struggling a bit, and I thought maybe I could use a bit of magic there. So I emailed Richard Clary, who was the secretary, and explained to him the situation, and then it took me about a month of pestering him, and eventually I came and had a chat, and he's like, yeah, we are struggling, I've not really got any money to pay you, but we need to do something. So I started here on a part-time role, dropped my hours from where I was previously, and so we'll give it a year, see how it goes, and so far, touch wood, managed to turn it around.
So what changed within that year? What did you bring to Clipston?
I think, without being too big-headed, I'd already got a reputation at Forest Town of being able to bring events on and make people feel quite welcome. As soon as I announced on the Facebook that I was coming here, there was a big buzz around the village, and we did a launch night in February. We did a big family disco, and every room in the pub was absolutely packed. It was brilliant, and everyone was saying how amazing it was. And it is hard to get people to come and spend money at the moment, because obviously it's tough times for everybody. But I tried to do a varied, like family discos, soul nights, different live music, karaoke nights, and just trying to make people generally feel welcome. So seems to be working.
I have noticed there's a lot more events on, and they are really wide ranging, aren't they?
Yeah. Last night we had a comedian on. I don't think Clipston's quite ready for too much culture yet, but they'll get there. But it was brilliant, and I think once people get to know, and the buzzword starts to go around about it, then we also work quite close with obviously the community groups and other charities around the village as well, and in Mansfield. So it's just all about helping each other, isn't it? Tonight we've got a school disco on.
So it kind of links in with the history of the welfare, doesn't it? What it used to be like.
Yes, I think back in the heyday it was queuing to get in. If you weren't in at a certain time, you weren't going to get a table. And perhaps people did sit in the certain table. You've got your Mabels and your Marys and things. We've recently done a community project play, and one of the stories was that there was a lady that had a foolproof way of protecting a drink. So she went to the toilet and left a drink on the table, she'd pop a false teeth in the drink. And surprise, surprise, nobody touched the drink.
Is this a true story?
Yeah.
What used to be the role of the welfare?
I think it was to support all the miners. Obviously it was a mining village, wasn't it? And a miners' institute kind of thing. It was there. Obviously when you work shifts, they was doing days, afters and nights, weren't they? So, and I think back in those days, when the pits, probably 70s, 80s, don't particularly think that, without being horrible, men were family people, were they? They didn't go to the park, or the wives weren't going to work, so they finished work and automatically went to the pub and then came home and expected to have the tea on the table, didn't they? And wouldn't probably see the kids 1 week to the next, so they spent all the money in the pub.
Did families come into the welfare then, do you know? Or
Not,
was
from
it
what
more?
I know of, some kids weren't allowed. There was, in fact, somebody was telling me the other day there was a funeral on and her daughter had to wait in the foyer at the entrance. She wasn't allowed to come in, she had to take her a bottle of pop outside.
Oh, I see.
So I think they were quite strict on that. And I think back in many, many moons ago, even women weren't allowed in here.
Oh, crikey.
I was told, actually, there was a library, a women's reading club next door where women could just come in once a week and read in a room on their own.
And what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it probably was all right back in the day, wasn't it? I hope they smuggled a few bottles of beer in or something. Had a few gins, bless them.
So how do you think the role of the welfare has changed over time?
I think it's obviously not as thriving as it used to be, but we're doing very well. For me, we aren't just a pub, we are the community hub of the village, and we have I try to get involved with many community projects, and it's not just about making money, it's about helping, like we've got the over 50s groups on. It's these people that you don't want anybody to be isolated if they're only going to see one person each week. Uniting Matters, we're wanting to open up a Men in Sheds thing, and maybe a food hub as well and stuff like that. But we do rely heavily on volunteers, so it's important to find more.
And do you get to know the people that come in then?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is a bit like a family, I suppose. Quite nice.
And you make time for everyone. I've
like,
seen you chatting.
As in, like, Reggie's just brought me lunch, 97-year-old Reggie's just brought me lunch, and we've just had a little lunch date. Well, that's quite nice.
That's lovely,
Quite a lot of time for him.
Yeah.
We had the British Legion come in, and so then we'll get involved with the Remembrance Parade this year. That'll be a big thing. So it isn't just about having parties and your typical everyday drinking and football and stuff. It is about involving other people with other things as well, not just thinking about one way to make money.
And it sounds like you're trying to be more inclusive and include children and everyone.
Yeah, it is. You want everybody to feel welcome, don't you? Because obviously children as well, they're the future. So you want them to feel happy and welcome.
So the welfare used to run trips, didn't they?
Apparently so, yes. I've just put the feelers out and said, would we be interested in doing it again, going to Skegness, maybe day trips and things, and Christmas markets and stuff. But it's the end of a never-ending list of things to be doing.
Oh, that's brilliant. Looking back, are there any other stories, any funny stories or anything you'd like to share?
Because I've only been here 18 months, obviously I keep getting told a lot that the building's quite haunted.
Oh.
We have got some paranormal investigators coming in August, which you might like to come to, actually. It's not going to be a paid-for event, it's just they're literally coming to do a research project, which will take place in this room where we are now. But there has been plenty of stories about things like people working behind this bar here and feeling a bad presence, or hearing children playing upstairs and barrels roll along the floor.
So are they old stories that have been passed down?
Well, this paranormal company came beginning of 2000 last time, apparently. So I've tried not to say too much of what I know. So if we can get these people in and know if there's anything fresh. Or there was a lady that used to sit in that corner, apparently, and when one of the mediums came in, she was sat on the chair and she got chucked off the chair because she was pretty much sat in this other lady's chair, what she used to sit in all the time. And then they also spoke about, there was a group of sisters, I think 4 sisters, used to sit up on the balcony, and at the side, one of the sisters' husbands used to come in and just stand at the side of him, wouldn't join in with him, but he was there as their protector. And they mentioned them as one, and that's the true story, that there was a group of sisters that used to come in.
And have you witnessed anything yourself?
We've all of the staff, we're all not comfortable being here on our own. But I think when you're on your own, sometimes your senses are heightened, aren't they?
Yeah.
Also because the World War I camp, was it? Used to be around there. There's been stories of nurses walking through here. They're like the old Florence Nightingale type meet. So that's quite interesting. So to me, we're not just a pub here anymore. We are a community hub, and we're providing a service to everybody in the village, and constantly thinking of what we can do to help people in the village. You know, I'd like to say we've got the other side of the building, which is empty at the moment, which we've got so much potential that we can do. I want to do a men in sheds, I want to do a community cafe, I want to do a food hub, we want to open up another function room. So many things that we can do, but just thinking not necessarily about, like say, making money, but giving back to the community and helping everybody. Something to do.